favor of the future seafarers that what I have been through, it should not happen with them.
136 days actually tells the entire story of how Somalian pirates have taken them.
People who hijacked us, the pirates of Somalia, they told us we will release you on so and so date.
True.
As we have some info that we will be getting some ransom. The initial amount, which was $22 million, how much did we pay or how much did he pay is still a mystery. I'm talking about 1990, 1991, about 34 years from today.
If you see the records, I was also doing some studies. They say the piracy started in 2002, but you're talking about 98. So
My incident was one of the very first actually, and we were very lucky and fortunate that all 21 crew came back alive.
Same.
Maybe this generation, they don't even understand or digest it.
why were you so passionate about navigation, Captain? You were a cadet and then you became officer. So there was a huge salary jump. How did you react to it and how was the feeling? You saw one unmanned boat approaching the vessel.
It was a technique they were using. Later on, we understand and realize. Later on, the pirates came on board and then they hijacked us, and
They had multiple boats?
they have multiple boats. Yes, probably 600 people boarded that. First.
600?
Through your channel, I would like to know the people who are listening this channel that this is only based on the truth. Whatever happened with me in the prison of 136 days in Somalia while my ship was hijacked by the pirates, it has been only penned down the truth, all the true events I have written down here.
Guys, welcome to the Port to Port Talk Show, your gateway to the world of shipping, sailing, and anything related to global trade. I am Capt Rajat, a seasoned maritime pilot, and every week I sit down with the top industry leaders, the trade pioneers, and the navigators to discuss what is happening in the shipping industry, what are the challenges we are facing, and how we can use it or leverage it to make our own living or find a way of making something better. Okay, so whether you are a maritime professional or just curious to know the forces behind how the global trade is working, we've got you covered. With each episode, we bring to you the latest news, the latest trends, and sometimes we bring the old stories. So talking about the old stories, guys, I have been reading this novel for last couple of weeks. This is 136 Days by Captain Kazim Abbas. He's from Pakistan, and this is untold story of MV Johanna survivors. And the good thing is, I got hold of Captain Kazim, and today we have Captain Kazim with us. I'm not very happy to share that he has to bring this out again because these are some of the most miserable and painful memories of Captain Kazim's life. However, I feel that I'm sure like we all can learn something from his experience on board Sea Johanna. So I welcome Captain Kazim Abbas to the show.
Thank you very much.
I know this is really, really, tough for you to come here and talk about this thing, but you have written this in the novel. So I'm sure you really have things to talk about, Captain Kazim.
Yes, of course. It was an incident that happened with me from about 26 years ago from today. And since this happened, I was always looking to pen it down for the favor of the future seafarers that what I have been through, it should not happen with them, especially the new generations, they are coming now. So it is a very painful experience, but still I'd love to talk about it. And that's the reason I have written the book on my all memories, which I would like through your channel, I would like to know the people who are listening this channel that this is only based on the truth. Whatever happened with me in the prison of 136 days in Somalia while my ship was hijacked by the pirates, it has been only penned down the truth, all the true events I have written down here. There is nothing have been added, neither there is something which I just cut it down. I just want to let people know what really happened with us.
क्या हुआ साहब थोड़ा बताइए मतलब
It happened 26 years ago. आज से 26 साल पहले मैं सेकंड मेट सेल कर रहा था और जैसे आपने भी किताब रिसेंटली पढ़ी है, आपने कहा है कुछ हफ्तों से यू वर रीडिंग दिस बुक and you enjoyed it and there are many things to learn from this experience. Many people called me, जिन्होंने ये किताब पढ़ी है, they know that what I have been through, and that's the reason of writing this incident in a book, that people really know what happened. So 26 years ago, when I was sailing like a floating staff, I was sailing on a ship of cargo ship whose name was MV Johanna. We joined this ship from Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. It happened in 1998, October 1998. We joined that ship. Unfortunately, the ship condition was not good.
Yeah, you have described the condition was really
It
bad.
was a
and
rust bucket actually.
You
and we
were having that instinct feeling that whether I should go or not, but still you didn't have a choice.
Yes, my sixth sense was alarming
Yeah,
during the whole time, as I've written in the book in the first chapter. But unfortunately, the conditions I had at that time, I had no options to leave it. So I just took a risk, and I faced it in future. What I took the risk. So there is no doubt that I had, my sixth sense was always alarming me to get out of this thing. But sometimes, even knowing, you take the risk and then you have to face the consequences. And this is what happened. So we joined the ship in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. And the ship was laid up for 3 years there. We took the ship from there to Mombasa, Kenya. Came for loading. We load some cargo. It was a rust bucket. And that's why we named the ship Haunted House. It is one of the name of the chapter, even you have been.
Yeah.
So it was in a very bad condition. Then the vessel sailed from Mombasa, Kenya to Kandla, India. And during this passage, the ship engine broke down and we were being captured by the pirates of Somalia because it was near the coast of Somalia. And then we were being prisoners there for 136 days.
136 days actually tells the entire story of how Somalian pirates have taken them and how they managed to come out of it. But at the end of the book, I didn't figure out whether they have paid the ransom or not.
It's still a mystery even for me, like you are asking.
Yeah.
Because it happened a couple of times, as I've written in the book, that the people who hijacked us, the pirates of Somalia, they told us we will release you on so and so date, as we have some info that we will be getting some ransom. The initial amount, which was $22 million, you're talking 26 years ago, it was a huge amount.
Huge amount. Yes.
Even today, it's not a small amount, $22 million, because we were 21 crew. So they asked $1 million for each crew and $1 million for the ship.
Okay.
So that's why the first demand was $22 million. Then they had negotiation with Mr. Asif, who was the superintendent of the ship, and he was taking care. And he's the one who really brought us back out of that prison. There is no doubt. But what really happened, and coming back to your question, that how much did we pay or how much did he pay, is still a mystery. Because the hijackers, they always told that Asif never bring money. Whereas when we released, we asked Mr. Asif, he said he paid 2-3 times the small amounts. I mean $70,000, something like that, not in millions, just for an installment to release few guys to make a trust, but they never released anybody. So it is still a mystery. I can only say that we had second life, all of us. So we all came alive out of that prison. But really, how much we did pay, it is still a mystery even for myself.
But Asif helped you a lot, guys.
Oh, he
did not leave.
No. There is no doubt. I still, if you call me who was the hero of the whole, it was Mr. Asif or our chief officer, Pervez Abdul Rahim.
Yeah, he also
He did a
encouraged you
great
a
job
lot,
as well. He was the one who was uniting us during the whole time. It was supposed to be done by the captain, the master, but he was not that
Captain
guy
and
who
chief
has that
engineer
character.
actually had their own time. Huh?
They had their own time. So they were not in their shoes of responsibility, what they're supposed to do. It was very unique experience, very strange. I wish and hope nobody should go through about it. But in that scenario, the way chief officer behaved, he was like a captain. And Asif, Mr. Asif, who was the superintendent of the ship, he was in London, but he never left us for a single day. There were many reasons for that. Chief Officer Pervez Abdul Rahim was very close friend of him. And chief mate always told us that he knows Asif very well. And it was proven later that he really never left us. Asif, he was
There
always.
was also, sorry to interrupt. There was also one incident that Asif hit the ship owner. Why is he not taking action?
Yes,
Yeah?
exactly. It initially happened that when he asked, because he was a British guy, as I've written in the book, that he was not interested in our release and to pay that huge amount as a ransom to the hijackers. So he was not willing to even get into this matter. But Mr. Asif, since he is Pakistani, all officers, 10, we were from Pakistan. We had two Indian guys, six Tanzanians, two Burmese, one Indonesian. So Asif was the one who actually hired all of us, and he never left us. He tried to talk with the owner, but he said, "My ship is insured. I will get the insurance." And I had no blood relation with any of the crew, so I have no problem that whatever they are facing, it's their fate. I didn't do it intentionally, and Asif had a fought with him
Yeah.
in his office in London.
He was in jail as well for a while.
Yes, for 3 days. That's what we heard.
Okay, Captain. So when I was reading the novel, I have got some questions that I thought I will ask you personally. And can I take the liberty to?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So there was one instance about color TV. So what was
Actually,
this
it's
about?
written in the first chapter.
Yeah.
I'm talking about 30 years, 34 years plus. I'm talking about 1990, 1991, about 34 years from today. Maybe this generation, they don't even understand or digest it. The color television was new in the market at that time. I'm talking 34, 35 years ago when I was in the process to get my seaman book. And the guy who had this power during the whole process to get my seaman book, he was looking something and he demanded me to get one new color television for me so I can sign your documents and get it done. So, yes, but nowadays, many friends who go through this book, they were just laughing and they were just
Yeah.
making fun of it, that what is this color TV?
Correct.
But at that time, yes, it was a big deal to have a color TV in
Did
your
you
house.
manage to give him the color TV?
No, I didn't. As I told in the book, I didn't want to start my career in the return or of any bribe or anything like that, bribery. No, I didn't want it. And thankfully, if you have
Yeah.
gone through,
Yeah.
my brother helped
Not
me.
everything we should disclose.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Tell us about some of the cadetship events that you faced.
The cadetship I did, actually, it was my intention from the day one was to go UK to get my first navigational license of second officer or third officer. And for that, I required 39 months. Actually, it was 42 months those days, but they give 3 months exemption for some courses. So minimum, I required 39 months. I started from one of the company, and I feel very proud today that I did it on my own basis, on my own. I passed the exam to get into the company. But on the ship, we were 6 cadets. I was the youngest and the junior most guy. And since I didn't know anything about the ship, like even port to port, like your channel name, I didn't know when I joined the ship. I had no vocabulary or the terminology understanding of marine industry at that time. So it is common for every cadet. They go through some rough times during their training, and it's a part of training. And I will even endorse it. It should happen, but not the way it happened with me at certain time, that some of my officers, they didn't like me due to some reasons, and they tried to give me some tough time. But today, after so many years, I feel lucky and blessed that if you want to, one of my Italian master, when I was sailing, he told me, I was a junior officer and he was the master from Italy, Captain Della Salvatore. I still remember the fellow. He told me, if you want to shine the shoe, you have to hold the shoe very hard, and you have to use your second hand to rub it much harder. Then the shoe will shine. At that moment, the shoe will not be happy what you're doing with it. But later on, when the shoe will shine, everybody will see, oh, this is really extraordinary shining. So in any training, not our in maritime industry, either you are in IT or banking or any sector. If you are in your junior time, your junior age, if you go through some tough time, if you get some rough seniors who are really giving you tough time, it's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
It will come out in the future, the way you will shine. You will realize what they did with me in past. It's a blessing coming now for me that I am something extraordinary.
True. Captain, something similar happened to me when I was the cadet on my first ship. So I literally used to curse my chief officer. I was a cadet, chief officer, he must be 34, 35. Muslim guy from Chennai, Captain Azad. I would like to name because he may be watching this. Not that I really hated him, but what happened because as a cadet, I was always on the deck, tanker, pump room, everything. And in Roja times, he don't take a break of lunch, right? So I was also working with him all the while. So I was like, this guy don't eat food, neither do I. So we're working all the time. And I was like, why to work so hard when not everybody is working so hard? Why only me? But Captain, you won't believe, the moment I was in chief officer's shoe, I started making decisions thinking if Captain Azad would have been here,
What we will do?
what he would do. And then, the entire perspective about Captain Azad changed. Okay, he was doing something so that I learned from the things. It's not that he wanted to give me the tough time. He wanted me to learn the process.
Exactly. I would like to give a message to our new generations coming now in our marine industry, or even you belong to any other industry, that if you get some officers, some seniors who are giving you tough
Yeah,
time,
who are pushing you.
over pushing you and trying to push your limits, they're actually extending your limits. What they have achieved, like today, I'm 50. I've already been at 30 years almost at sea. I've gone through many phases, including this big incident we are talking today. But I really would like to give message to the new generation that they should take that thing, these officers or these tough times, as positively. It will help you in future. The success is out of your comfort zone.
Of course.
If you want to remain in your comfort zone, you will never get success. If you want to get success, you have to come out of your comfort zone.
Success is out of your comfort zone. It's like a quote for the day. It's a very important one that
It is actually anywhere, even for today, with at my age or my experience, if I want to achieve anything new in my life, which you always keep on trying, you should never stop. The moment you stop, you're like a stone on the street. The people are passing, you will remain that stone. So you have to keep on working hard for your new achievement, for your new goals of your life. So this is very important that you always have to come out of your comfort zone if you want to get success to achieve that particular goal.
Okay, Captain, let's move on to the novel again. What were the issues with the captain's wife? You mentioned about captain's wife thing that thought that you are mad or something.
Actually, I'm talking of 1990s maritime industry. Nowadays, it looks very strange. First, you have to actually tell, especially the new generations who will be listening this thing. Those days, there was no GPS, or the GPS was newly introduced into the world. It was basically made by the U.S. Armed Forces, and they were using it. Later on, they give it commercially for the ships or aircraft to use for commercial purpose. But in those days, we used to plot our ship's position with sight. You use the celestial bodies like sun or the stars to get your PL, which is position line, and after that you get your fixed position. Otherwise, you used to run the ship on a DR, which is called dead reckoning
Correct.
position.
Correct.
So I was working very hard, and as I've written in the book, one of my third officer, I don't know where is he. I've never seen him for last so many years, maybe 25 years plus. His name was Nazir. He was the only guy who was helping me, teaching me, giving me all the knowledge he had that time. And I was remembering all the navigation stars. There are actually 54 stars which are used for the navigational purpose. In our almanac books of nautical almanacs book, we have their GHA or an SHA, sidereal hour angle, or Greenwich hour angle. So these were the stars which you have to memorize. They have their constellations like their families with different shapes and sizes. So you have to memorize their shape and size by watching them, and then you shoot them to get your PL. So actually, I was just memorizing the constellation of stars while the captain wife came on the bridge. I was probably 20, 21 year old at that time, and she just in the middle of the night, I was standing on the bridge deck,
Yeah, you mentioned that you
and
were
I
doing
was just
something.
trying to memorize and remember the Ursa Major
Yeah.
constellation or Ursa Minor or Belt of Orion constellation. Or Dube, Mirak, Figda, Migres, Aliyot, Mizar, Al These are the
My
Ursa Major,
goodness. Yeah.
which is in the sign of question mark. You can
Correct.
see even
Correct.
today on the
Correct.
in the sky. So she just saw me and she was scared that what I'm doing. She thought I got mad. Maybe I'm mad, just talking myself in the middle of the night in dark. But
Okay.
later on, I explained it to her that actually I was trying to memorize the stars constellations. So that incident I already mentioned in the
Yeah,
book.
correct, correct. That's what. Why were you so passionate about navigation, Captain? Was it like a family history? Your father was a navigator, or
Yes, it was a passion for me. I had another passion since my childhood uh, to be something else, but my I'm the youngest in my all four brothers. I have three elder brother, and they were the one actually who showed me this way. All three brothers were in Navy. My eldest brother was in Pakistan Navy, and the other two elder brothers were in Merchant Navy. The other one of my elder brother is still pilot like myself. He's in Qatar now, Ras Lafan, and they were actually the guide for me. And I just followed their footstep and joined the Merchant Navy. And I saw my brothers; they were all very hard working, and they were the one with whom I was inspired, and I was trying to be like them. Like I told you, my one of my elder brother, who is in pilot
Pakistan?
now, Captain Jafar Abbas.
Ah, okay.
He is a pilot in Ras Lafan. We joined together in Singapore. We were together there 10 years after I quit and came to Dubai. And he continued in Singapore for a while. Now he's already been in Ras Lafan, Qatar. So actually, it's a family history. You can say I saw my three elder brothers going in the navy, or you can say the God has written all of us, to go to sea. So yes, I follow my brother's footstep, and I joined Merchant Navy because of them.
Interesting. So, Captain, you were a cadet and then you became officer. So there was a huge salary jump. How did you react to it, and how was the feeling?
Of course, naturally, it's a very happy feeling you had. Like when I joined, I was joined on a promise that you will get your salary start after 1 month, which the company didn't. It's very common, even nowadays, it's very common, I heard. And I was working 5 months without salary on my first ship as a cadet. Later on, the master, they realized my hard working. I was expert of doing chipping on the ship. Maritime
Chipping.
industry people,
Okay.
they know it with the machine or hammer or
So
anything.
basically, guys, if you're not from maritime industry, I will explain to you. Chipping is basically the corroded iron on the ship's hull. When the seawater reacts with the iron, so it's like it becomes a chip, and you have to remove that chip by hammer, and then you have to apply fresh coat of paint so that the life of iron can be increased. So this is what is called chipping. Am I
Yeah,
right, Captain?
yes, you're right. So later on, after 5 months, I was transferred to another ship, and both the masters, they worked hard that I should to get my salary, and it was started. And after 18 months of my cadetship, I got first promotion to be as a third officer. It was a huge jump from $100 to $1,000. 10 times you have
In 90s.
in 90s.
My God.
I'm talking 96, 97. It was a huge jump.
True.
It was a huge jump, and it was, of course, it's a very good feeling that, yes, I have already written all the details are in the book. You have gone
True.
through
True.
how I got the promotion.
True.
And I would like to tell one more thing that your hard working, it never get waste.
Correct.
I believe it.
Correct.
Maybe today or maybe tomorrow, you will get reward of it. Definitely.
Correct. Tell us about the Tanzania incident. You were going to join the ship, and then what happened?
Yeah, actually, the MV Johanna I joined, it was in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam port. Once we arrived there, it's Africa. Even today, I don't know how is it. It was quite bad situation in those days. And when we arrived at the airport, we were on our way to hotel. The police, a patrol police car, they stopped us figure out all the foreigners with a local agent, and they just try to harass us and try to get some money out of it. So what really happened? We end up going into the jail. We had to spend whole night there because they were asking some money, a bribe from the agent, which he didn't have at that time. And they said, tomorrow morning you bring the money and then we will release your stuff. And we had to stay whole night in the jail of Tanzania. It was horrible experience. Actually, the whole incident
I mean, it
started.
was starting
It was a
giving the
series
signs.
of
Yeah,
exactly.
correct, correct.
It was a series of incident which end up being prisoner in Somalia, in the jungle of Somalia for 136 days.
My God. And Captain, there's one very interesting quote that you mentioned in your novel. It is up to you to remember something, but it's not up to you to forget about it. I really like that. And if you think of it, it's actually true.
It is true. It is you feel if you look at your life, no matter whatever your age is today, you look back, there are certain things you can't forget. It's not in your hand.
True.
Even you try to take them out of your memory, you cannot.
Cannot.
So this is true.
You saw one unmanned boat approaching the vessel. Were you on the bridge that time or?
I was actually, it was my watch. I was second mate in the afternoon around 1 o'clock. So I just saw after 4 days, there was a sailboat coming close to ship side, and there was nobody you can see with the binoculars trying to figure out is there anybody. When they came close, then we can see two, three guys were hiding there. And then finally they came out and they were actually asking for some water to drink, showing that they are thirsty and they are hungry. So it was a technique they were using later on, we understand and realize, trying to figure out how many people on ship. Because we were anchored there, our engine broke down, we have a main cylinder broken. Nothing we can do. We were waiting for a tow tug to come and tow the ship from the border of Somalia and Kenya, where we anchored, to
Kandla.
where we supposed, which was our destination next. So the boat came and they were trying to figure out how many people. And when it happened, we already had meeting on board ship. If anything like this suspicious came nearby, is coming close to ship, just make the general alarm and everybody should come on the deck to show them your strength that there are enough people. But we were only 21 crew. So even everybody is on the deck, which I doubt maybe 18, 17 people were there. Some people were, of course, maybe sleeping or busy in their watches, whatever. So it was the start of that incident, actually, that how we were, later on the pirates came on board and then they hijacked us and we have to stay there for 136 days in the jungle of Somalia.
How old were you, Captain, that time?
I was 24 years old at that time when it happened, 23, 24 years old.
That's like a shock of life after
Oh,
that.
yes, it is. It is. But I feel blessed having a very lovely family who prayed for me, and because of their prayers, my brothers, my sisters, my father was alive that time. My mother passed away before this incident. But my father, of course, he prayed a lot. My brothers, my two brothers who were sailing, they came back from the ship and tried to do their all efforts to get me out of that prison. But it took some time. So yes, it was a tough time, especially at so young age.
And Captain, you also mentioned you had an heart attack, but you'd never realized that you had an heart attack, right?
I still doubt about it. Yes, it's been written in the book as well. Actually, many times after I had some medical checkup, and the doctor just told me that your ECG shows you had this thing. I never know, to be honest. I never knew it. So they said maybe it happened with you sometimes, maybe some past time. So that was the only time in my life I had the toughest time. So I guess maybe it's the only thing. It's the only time when it happened. But there is no assurance.
But you felt a pain in your chest that time?
No, nothing.
Nothing.
I never had this thing. It's just a guess. Actually, I mentioned it to the guy who wrote the book with me, my friend's father. I was telling him, and he was a professor. May God rest in peace. He already passed away 2 years ago in COVID. So he also mentioned it in the book. But it's just a doubt.
Captain, tell us about the night of the pirates. About like, were you on the watch? Were you resting, or how did this happen? Because
The first time.
yeah, the first time.
Yeah, it was in the evening. I just finished my 12 to 4 watch, anchor watch,
Afternoon watch, yeah.
afternoon watch. I came down in my room. The radio officer used to be on that time.
True.
Nowadays, this post is already gone, is no more there. But he came to my room and we were talking about the condition that we are anchored at a very dangerous spot. It's very famous for the pirates. And at the same time, the fifth engineer we had, Zakaria Sabir, he came and he told us that there are pirates around the ship. And we just opened the curtain of the portal and look outside. It was hundreds of people on the ship boarding from all around the ship.
They had multiple boats.
They have multiple boats. Yes, probably 600 people boarded that first.
600 people.
Definitely, it was 600 people. Definitely, because they were scared that maybe we react something, but we had nothing to react against them. So they just came and said, "We are anchored here for 4 days. We are looking what you are doing here and why you are doing." So we thought they're just here to find out that why the ship is there. We try to make them realize that we are not here to harm them or anyone.
And they were all weapon like armed.
Yeah, they were all armed. They are pirates all there. Nowadays, it's very much. Nowadays, I should say that industry is much safer than in past. There's NATO forces there. You have armed guards who are traveling with you on board ship. You have retired commandos.
This was back in 98.
I'm talking 1998, 26
I mean,
years.
if you see the records, I was also doing some studies. They say the piracy started in 2002, but you're talking about 98. So
My incident was one of the very first actually, and we were very lucky and fortunate that all 21 crew came back alive.
safely.
It was a big thing. They all came back safely alive on their feet, and it was the first incident which became famous because the people they come out from that prison, from that place, and they told their experience. So the world comes to know, the whole world come to know that how really people are have been living there, because this place is a no go area, something like that.
Correct.
Especially Somalia, even I believe today there is no government or
I think their economy has stabilized and they have a stable government.
maybe.
Yeah.
But if we are talking about 26 years ago, there was nothing.
For sure.
So our incident was the first one which become very famous, came into the media of that time, which is not like today, of course. It was just the television and the newspaper that time.
The pirates were on board, and how did they convince you guys that okay, please come with us, leave the ship, and how did this happen?
They don't want to convince us. There's only one way that convince to hold their rifle, that's all. So they don't need to make us convince. They just ordered everybody has to go down. So the captain told them, I'm the master and I cannot leave the ship. And they just load their guns and they were pointing and aiming towards you, all of us, while we all keeping our hands on our head on the main deck. And they just ordered everybody to get down in their boats as the leaders of their war, who was in charge of that group. He wanted to talk with us.
Sheikh Hussain or Khalifa?
Sheikh Hussain.
Sheikh Hussain.
Shah Hassan.
Shah Hassan.
Shah Hassan. Khalifa was his son, as I mentioned in the book.
Correct.
He was a nice guy, Khalifa. Tried to help us a little bit during
Young
those
guy,
times. He was a young guy. Tried to help us, to be honest, during those tough days. But Shah Hassan was the leading guy of the whole group that they have this pirates group. And we have to go there. There was no choice. The captain even has to go because they said if you do not refuse our order next, that was the warning they gave. If next time you said no, you will no more alive to see anything in this world. So we realized that they are not only talking, they were armed with guns, with bombs and with dynamite, and even they bring dynamite to sink the whole ship. And we realized that yes, they are professional pirates. They were looking some money by any means. They took our all stuff. I spent 136 days in one t-shirt and one pant. My shoes were broken and I was just barefoot
Yeah,
for
you
about
also
last
had
2.5 months. Yes.
a lot of physical assault as well. Anyway, we'll come to that. There was one instance when you guys were waiting for Ahmad and Ahmad didn't come.
They just torture us, and it was actually they were trying to harass us mostly. They were thinking maybe they were trying to contact captain with the owner and they were trying that if they harass us, if they uh, torture us, captain will tell the story to the owner, and then maybe captain will put some pressure on the owner to arrange the ransom for the pirates, and in that way they will get the job done faster. It was their thinking, but it didn't work that way actually. So that was the thing that they tried to torture us because they were looking for some ransom as they
For
were
sure.
pirates. That's their profession.
Captain, what is the meaning of voodoo? Because you mentioned it a couple of times in the book.
Is
Is it a
evolution that you are doing wuzu before praying, clean up yourself.
ah
That is the thing.
okay? And the chief engineer was doing time pass on board.
Yes, he was the most luckiest guy. I must say, I don't know where is he in
You
this
don't want to
world.
meet him as well.
Now I don't want to meet him. Yes, couple of guys out of this incident, I met with them. I just met my fifth engineer Zakaria Sabir
I think
after.
he helped you a lot,
Oh
guys.
yes, yes. He was a younger. He was like me in twenties, and he was the trainee engineer. We called fifth engineer. That was his first ship. So he helped us. Yes, a little, quite a lot. He helped us, and I just met with him 2 months ago in Canada. I visited after 30 years plus, and we had a long talk. We sit together, talk the old memories we had there. So yes, it was a good experience to meet him. But yes, with chief engineer, I never had chance. I don't know where is he, and is he still alive or not? I don't know because he was 50 plus at that time. I'm talking
Yeah,
20.
he may not be.
So I don't know about him. Where is he? But yes, he was the most luckiest and fortunate during the whole incident because he stayed on board for 2.5 months while we were in jungle. After that, he came back, and just 1 month, 1.5 month after we were released. So he didn't see much bad time like we all, the rest of
Correct.
us, we saw.
Correct. Your fourth engineer, Zahir, he was a traitor. Huh? He exposed you guys to. Was he the traitor or
No, no,
someone
he
else?
was not the. Actually, it was the chief engineer
Chief
who
engineer.
mentioned. But I must say, after having and with my experience and life, that when something comes like this to you, you don't know how to
Yeah.
react. So yes, if it can happen to anybody, you don't know what to do, and that your first response, it might be positive, it can be negative. So everybody is not strong enough to react in the right positive way, especially in the situation like we faced during that time. So yes, there were some people who were trying to help each other. There were some people who were just thinking, who were selfish. They were just thinking about themselves, how to get out of that hell. So you find all type of people in the world, and
True.
that's the experience you go through.
You mentioned in your second camp, the water well was 5 kilometer far. So how did you guys manage like 5 kilometer going just to
Yes,
get
you
the
used to
water?
walk in the morning twice a day. They took us, there were two groups. One group goes in the morning, 8 people bringing 4 cans. Every can was 20 liter. So you were bringing 80 liters every day in the morning and then 80 liters in the evening. So we used to walk. There was armed guards at the forward and aft of our line. The 8 people walking, one behind each other. So we have 2, 3 guards in the front and 2, 3 guards at the back. Because they always had doubt that we might try to escape or to react, or because the pressure you are having in situations like this is unexplainable. May God keep all seafarers safe. But what we have gone through, that you never know that when you are dead, maybe next 5 minutes, actually you never know it. But in that situation, especially when they are trying to harass you, trying to torture you to get their ransom, keeping the guns on your head, so you never know that when you will, next moment, you are alive or not. So it was really tough. But yes, we used to go uh, 5 kilometers. We walk in the morning, 8 guys, and there was second party going in the evening. We go there, fetch the water, take shower there, and then come back to
There
the
was the
camp.
only well around, so that's why you
That
were
was the
walking.
only well around because it's quite dry area, and there was no raining even for years in Somalia. But we saw rain. Luckily, we during our stay there was raining couple of times and quite a heavy rain we saw.
And who was that guy who started hitting you, was it Ahmed? No,
Yes.
Ahmed, yeah. Shit. You were waiting for Ahmed and then he said he
Yeah,
will come back.
yeah, of course, they were just that, like I said earlier, they were just trying to harass us by torturing and getting some pressure on the owner of the ship because they were expecting he will react positively, which he didn't actually. And later on, he was kicked out of the shipping business when we were released, and there was a meeting of IMO and other maritime organization. We come to know that his ship has been arrested anywhere they are arriving in different ports of the world, and he was kicked out of this business because of his irresponsible behavior he had.
Captain, also you have mentioned that you were going along with the first group and then somebody came. What's his name? I forgot his name. Who came to beat you guys? And
Ahmed.
Ahmed only, yeah? He was Pakistani,
No, no, he was not Pakistani.
but he used to speak Arabic as well.
He used to speak. He knows Pakistani language actually, but he was not from Pakistan actually.
Okay.
But they were actually all pirates.
What was his concern with you guys? You and chief engineer? No, sorry, second engineer.
It was some, I must say, some religious difference. They thought, but I would rather not to go
Not
in
to go.
detail.
Okay.
In detail.
Let people read the novel and figure out.
Yes, it's better that they read it out and they will have their own.
Understood. First shower you took after how many days after getting?
48 days. After 48 days, I was not even able to take shower myself. Captain, electrical engineer, and chief officer that helped me to get shower while I was sitting on a stone, and they just used water and soap, whatever was available at that time. So I took shower after 48 days.
Also, there was an instance when you, was it like a thorn which?
It was a thorn. It was a poisonous thorn that stuck in my foot in the morning when I was going for toilet in the jungle. So in darkness, you don't see anything, and you're barefoot.
You're barefoot
I was barefoot. So
in the jungle.
yes, and I'm talking real jungle. You see, I saw jaguar there. I saw lion. He attacked our camp 2-3 times. The Somalians, they used to fire to make him
Go away, yeah.
run away. And yes, I took shower after 48 days. I cleaned my teeth first time after 36 days. I had this thorn stuck in my...
Yeah, and this guy, the guard, he says, either you cut his leg or he will die.
Or he will die. Because there was no medical facility, zero.
I mean, you must have been to different, this thing, what the hell? I mean, he's just saying like, cut his leg, what is this? This is like a joke?
This is how they're living. I don't know today how is the situation there, but what I've gone through, as I told you in the start of this talk, that I have written only the truth, what really happened with me. But luckily, to be honest, Captain did a great job at that time. He took decision that we should try to take it out at least. Himself, there was one Tanzanian cadet, as I mentioned in the book, Edwin Wambura. He was quite heavy and strong guy who hold me because they knew without any proper medical support, it's not easy to make a small operation to get this thorn out of my foot. So there were 4 or 5 guys involved. 2 of them were holding me so that I don't make problem for them to do this operation. But luckily, yes, my foot was safe. I was safe. It took time to heal up that wound. But yes, my foot was safe. Otherwise, according to them, it's a poisonous and he might die because of that poison. But they take out the whole fluid of that, what was starting a septic and start making wound much worse. They take out the whole stuff.
But there was no antiseptic, nothing.
There was nothing.
So you were lucky, to be honest.
Yes.
Could have been septic also, like, you know.
Yes, it is. If it was septic, there is nothing you can. There was no medical. We didn't have their food properly. Forget about the other necessities of life. So you don't have food and water on a regular basis, and I mean every day. Sometimes you eat, sometimes you don't get food because they are waiting for the car. There was no car. They used to come after every 2, 3, 4 days. So they send message, they pass it, that the flour is finished, they're waiting. And they told us, you have nothing to eat today. Hopefully, we pass message, they will bring it tomorrow. If the car comes, it will bring the bag of flour. Otherwise, you have to wait.
What about the scorpion bite? He's like, if the scorpion is
Yeah,
black, you
actually,
will die.
like I said,
Yeah.
it was a jungle.
Mm-hmm.
There were really wild animals, including these reptiles. Like we killed ourselves 18 snakes during the whole prison, and two of our crew they had experienced that scorpio bite them. One of the was Burmese Kukutun, and one was the Indian guy Abbas, who was our chief cook. So they had very bad experience. Yes, luckily no other guy was get by any of the other snakes or other thing, but only two of the crew they had this experience that the scorpio bite them. Uh, Abbas, who was the cook, and the Kukutun, who was the AB, the Burmese guy.
You also mentioned that these guards, they always keep needle and thread with them. Why is that?
They were very rough. Of course, they were pirates. They were very rough. If they have any cut or anything, they used to sew it with their own hand
Themselves?
themselves, or maybe help each other. I don't know. I never saw it, but what I heard from our other colleagues, they saw them, some of them. So that's why they were keeping it with them. Because it was a jungle, you have a cut and wound and bruise, stuff like that. So they used to just sew it by themselves or help each other to. That's what their medical aid
Treatment.
was.
Yeah, yeah. Understood. Do you want to talk about Miss Saida coming in your dream? 14 flags. What was that?
It is my religious,
Yeah.
but
But you really had these.
yes, it was. It's whatever I wrote in the book is true. Whoever
You
is
were
interested.
actually very much religious, and maybe you you were thinking of God too much that
Yes, it's
God
human
was with
nature.
you that
It was.
time.
It is human nature, and I believe because we were people with different religions, with different beliefs, and it's human nature. If you read the human psychic, when you have tough time, whatever your beliefs are, you always uh, go to them, and that was happening with me.
Okay, 22-kilometer walk. Were you walking? You were supposed to sit in the car, right? Why did you
Yes,
walk? Because you were
because there
the.
was only one car, and they give us offer because they were trying to be very nice, the pirates.
So
That
basically, tell us about that 22-kilometer walk. Why you had to walk 22 kilometers?
actually, as I have written in the book, that the other groups of Somalian pirates, there are different groups. They were different groups, and they were fighting among each other to get more area occupied and to be more powerful other than the other groups.
Gang war kind of thing.
Gang war. So when we were the other groups, they come to know that this group has hijacked a ship and they are asking ransom or such a big amount, and they realize if they get even half of it, they will be more stronger than us. So they try to start killing us. They start training their own uh, fighters to kill us, so that neither you have these seafarers nor you will get ransom for them.
Right, right.
So they were trying to change our camps to keep us safe from these fighters who were trying to kill us. They were also pirates. And finally, where we end up was their headquarters. That was the safest place for them. We had couple of attacks. Even we had attack on the headquarters there, and we were there when we got the news that we are about to release. So it was 22-kilometer border from that place to the Kenyan border where they were arranging to hand over to the Kenyan authorities from Somalia. And the pirates, they arranged only one car, twin cabin. They said only three guys who are in the worst condition, they can sit in the car and they can go by the car. I was one of them uh, who's supposed to go by the car. The rest people, they said you should go, but unfortunately there were some other guys and they just decided that they should go in the car and they went. So I had to walk. I had no other choice. But at that time, after living in the pirates prison for 136 days, you were just dying to see the fresh air.
Right.
You were trying to see the freedom. And one thing I would like to also highlight here, that your freedom is your basic right. The day you are born, you are free to do anything you want. And it is against the human nature and psychic. If I ask you to sit here in this room for 2 hours, after 10 minutes, your inside start telling you why I'm stuck here. It is against your freedom, against your will. So we were not free for such a long time. Even to go toilet, you need to take the permission. Forget about the food and the other things. So I was just dying to get out of this hell. So I had to walk 22 kilometers, and I really admit it, I was doing it happily with all my medical conditions I've been through, like this poisonous thorn.
Yeah,
And
thorn, and you were also very weak because of you also had some urine infection as well.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, because the torture they did us. So, but still, I remember I enjoyed and we were happy and we were just dying to get out of
for
the
sure.
border of Somalia and get into the Kenyan waters. And we were all happily while sometimes talking, and but the guards, armed guards, were walking with us. They told us there is a passage in between which is not under our control. It is under the control of other groups. If they come to know we are today letting you go, they might come and attack, and then it will be a war, and you will be in a dangerous situation. So be quiet, and just walk quietly. Sometimes we even cannot control our emotions. We were crying, we were talking sometimes even, and we didn't even believe that yes, it is happening, because there was a time we had hope. After some time, your nerves, they stop responding,
True.
and you are behaving not like in a normal way.
So, Captain, how many hours you guys walked to reach the border?
I think it took us about 7 to 8 hours continuously, non-stop
Continuously.
walk. Yes.
You had water with you?
No, I think we didn't have anything. Like I
Just
said, the emotions were so high, you didn't need anything. I was barefoot, no problem. It's a jungle, no problem. You have thorns, you have stones, you have no problem. Let me get out of this prison. Let me get out of these pirates.
also you mentioned Ali and Kusmana were fighting.
Yes, like I said, people were not in their
Mental,
normal
yeah.
mental they were
Understood.
not stable, including myself. I had to go, and my brothers took me to hospital for I have to see psychiatrist for some time. I have to see other doctors. Medical, mental, physical condition were not stable. So people, they were not, like I mentioned in the book. The captain fought with the cook. The fifth engineer fought with the cook. Captain was always trying to fight with the chief officer because he was behaving in a much better way than captain. So he was not happy with the chief mate behavior. So same way Usmana and Ali, because they were before on board ship, before we joined, they knew each other and they had fight. I don't remember what was the fight of the reason of fight, but they had a very bad fight. And we were shocked that even the day we are released,
They are
next day
fighting.
they had fight, such a bad fight. Even the picture in the book, you can see Ali eyes is,
Yeah.
Usmana eyes is swollen. Maybe they were punching each other. But I can, today after sitting here so many years, 26 years, yes, people were not in their mental stable condition. You can expect anything nonsense from them after going through so many days under so
Yeah, it's
heavy
mental
stress.
breakdown basically. Yeah.
So I wish nobody see what we have gone through. That's the reason I've written in my book that people come to know that yes, maybe there are people who had worse experience than myself. It's not the worst. There are there will be more worst experience people have gone through. But yes, the people, they were not mentally stable and they were not in a condition to behave like normal people. That was the reason they were fighting. Even the Tanzanian guy who was released, they bring the wooden stick to fight with the captain later on. And he was scared. And then we try to convince this Tanzanian guy to throw these sticks and don't do any stupid things. They might get it back if you behave anything nonsense.
Captain, at the end of the novel, you mentioned one incident about rescuing one third engineer from the other ship. What happened? And
Yeah, it happened before this incident in 1996. I was cadet that time. It was the 26th December 1996. I remember very well because it was the next day of Christmas.
okay,
And there was a ship. I was on one
so 2
cargo.
years before your incident.
Yes, 2 years before my incident. I was cadet and doing chipping on the cranes. There were 4 cranes, and we were 6 cadets. And we were going from Iran to China for loading. And we were passing through south of Sri Lanka. Uh, so we saw one guy, and we heard actually first his voice, help, help me. Then we realized there was a guy in the water, man overboard. We picked him up from the water, and later on we come to know that he was third engineer of another ship whose name was Falcon Chemist. The crew of that ship throw him into the water in the Christmas party while they were drunk and they were doing nonsense. They throw him into the water thinking he will die. But fortunately, we picked him up. He was saved. And we drop him on the way to China in Singapore. The Falcon Chemist arrived earlier than us. Our master reported.
So
And
was it
that
the same? You guys were going to the same port?
we were both heading towards east.
Okay.
So when we picked the guy, he gave us all the information. I'm the third engineer of Falcon Chemist, and
We were going
this
to
ship
that
is
port.
going. He was going some. I don't remember where he was heading, and our master tried to contact their ship. Their master replied, "Third year is on board." So we were in doubt. Finally, the third year he gave some his owner's information. Then our master contacted their owner through telex or set communication in those days. And he realized that owner responded him and he said, "I'm coming myself." So to call my ship to come to Singapore. So that ship was directed to report to call Singapore port. We were 1.5 days behind them. We arrived. The whole ship was arrested. The ship was arrested. The whole crew were arrested there. When we arrived, we hand over the third engineer. His name was Dudinov Alexander. I still remember. He was quite heavy guy, 6.5, maybe more than that height, and quite heavy built. And it was a good experience. We saved the fellow.
And he was resting on the turtles, is it?
He was resting on the turtle for 15 hours, according to him. He was resting on the turtles. It was in the TSA south of Colombo. Now the name is not coming. What is the name of that TSS, traffic sufficient schemes? So you were just passing through the TSS. They threw him there. He find the turtle. He stayed on him whole night. And he said, "Your ship is the 4th ship passing through me. The other three ships, they didn't hurt. Maybe it was night time." Luckily, we were 6 cadets all doing chipping on the cranes.
So you heard him in the morning time.
Yeah, it was morning 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
We just stopped it was a tea break. So we stopped all our chipping machines and hammer noises.
Yeah.
And it was so noisy. All of a sudden, everybody stopped getting down from the cranes to go for our tea break.
Yeah.
And then we heard this help. He was shouting, don't know how long.
Yeah.
And he was close by. And then we see a black dot in the water with his 2 hands, just like 2 fingers up. And he was trying to wave his hand and trying to ask for help.
Captain, very interesting. There are a couple of questions if you have
Yes,
10,
please.
10 more minutes. So we talked about your 136 days. And guys, this book is on Amazon. I will share the link. Please go and read this big book, because this book is going to tell you how the life of seafarers when they are captured by the pirates. No, I'm not sure if this is happening right now, but this has been there for a while.
Yes, like you said that 2002 was the year that it became a hot spot. Before that, it was not. Yes, the pirates were always there. Even when we were passing, we knew it's a dangerous area, but we didn't know that how bad it can go.
Correct.
And nowadays, it's quite safe. What I come to know with many ships I have been on, and they are having some armed guards. They have the naval forces of different countries moving in those areas where they can expect some pirates or their boats. So nowadays is much better than the situation what happened with us 26 years ago.
I mean, I was just reading through some news, and it says that at its height, Somalian piracy increased the cost of global shipping due to the need of rerouting, paying for armed guards. Around 7 billion to 12 billion annually just increased because of this piracy attacks. Okay, Captain, tell us about your journey from Pakistan to becoming a harbor pilot in Dubai.
Yes, after getting my master's license and completing my master, which was my dream to be the captain, I was sailing on one Singaporean company on chemical tankers, and I come to know that they were looking some pilots. So I must say it was my fate. I applied it, got selected with my brother. He was also luckily there in Singapore at that time. We both joined together, and yes, we complete our training of 1 year time in Singapore and got our first license. Later on, we further go up and got our unlimited license and become unlimited marine pilot. And I was piloting in Singapore for 10 years. Now I'm here in Dubai for last 7 years.
Were you pilot in Pakistan? No.
No,
No, you have not done piloting in Pakistan.
I joined as a trainee pilot in Singapore, and I that was the first place I joined in Singapore. They were hiring those days. It was just coincidence.
It's a coincidence.
It's a
true.
coincidence. I was on a Singapore chemical tanker company sailing, coming regularly to Singapore. Always the pilots were late. I asked one of the pilot. He was from India, Mr. Singh. He's still there if he's listening. He was the one guy. And I asked him why you guys are always late. We have to wait here for so many hours drifting on the pilot boarding ground.
Yeah.
And he said, if you want to fill the gap, join us.
Join us.
So I come to know that they're looking for pilots, and luckily I joined it.
Harbor piloting involves tremendous responsibility. What goes on your mind when you're handling a massive ship of, let's say, 399, 16-meter draft?
Yes, I feel very fortunate, to be honest, that I was trained in Singapore. It's one of the only few factories producing pilots in the maritime industry. The rest of the world, if you see, you don't have any training schools for the pilots. Maybe in Europe, some places they have few, but they are training them from the bottom. But mostly the people become pilots by themselves. They just learn from here and there, but they don't have a proper training that like you become captain, you have gone through a massive training program, you have given years to be a captain. But conversion from a master to a pilot, either you are a harbor pilot or river pilot or docking, whatever, you don't find any proper training institute. But I feel fortunate that I joined Singapore Pilot. They have extensive 1 year training program. So you have to follow the pilots, probably 700-800 moves you have to follow with the senior pilots, know them how they are doing the work. The navigation and piloting are two different things. Ship handling is different. So navigating the ship in the open seas is very easy as compared to navigating a ship in a congested water.
Yeah, maneuvering is difficult.
It's a different thing. So yes, I was trained in Singapore. I learned the ship handling skills from some of the best pilots in the world. Still recognize Singapore pilots one of the best in the
Yeah,
world
for sure.
because of the congestion of water, strong currents, dense traffic, visibility, raining, and squalls coming there very often of strong winds. So you're getting the worst scenario possible in our industry for the ship handlers. If you're working in that conditions and you're used to of it and you know how to react in different situations, then yes, you become a polished guy who can work anywhere in the world. So it happened to me in my 17 years of piloting. Many times it happened. You have engine breakdown, you have rudder stuck, you have other options, a tug line broken. I've been doing anything that floats in the water. I've done piloting, including submarine, warships, 400-meter
Sometime-
container ships,
Yeah, please carry on. Yeah.
VLCC berthing, single moor-by mooring, STS, you name the thing. I feel lucky to say this. I have done piloting of it, including submarine, which is a very rare thing.
Correct.
You don't get often chance to handle the submarine as a pilot, as a marine pilot, to do berthing or unberthing because it's 30% is only above the water, 70% is below the water.
True.
To bring her alongside, it's not easy.
And to board the submarine is also a
It's
task.
another different thing. Yes, you have to go to their Zulu boat, and yes, it's a different experience.
True.
So yes, your piloting is a different conditions and different as compared to navigation in the open sea.
Correct, correct. Captain, do you know which is the best job in the world? I mean, as per you, what do you think?
In our industry,
Yeah.
I must say that someone if you're asking for the audience or for the new generation who will listen this thing, just do the work what you enjoy. This is the best job. If what you are doing you're not enjoying, then it's not a job for you.
Okay, Captain. So I was on board on one of the ships I was bringing, and the captain told me, pilot is the best job in the world. I asked Captain, why are you saying that? Marine pilot is the only flag that exists in the world for a job. You see, the piloting flag we have, right?
Exactly. He's right.
And
Yes.
also every ship has got a pilot cabin as well.
Yes.
So I was
Of
very
course, a
moved.
very
Yeah.
prestigious job and highly skilled required, full of honor and respect. There's no doubt. I'm enjoying this honor for last many years. And yes, it's a very good job if you can go up to that. But you need certain skills to be a pilot.
Correct.
Every pilot is a master, but every master cannot be a pilot.
That's a very interesting thing to say, Captain. But you're right. With the increasing use of technology in shipping, how has your role as a harbor pilot evolved over the years? What do you think about the use of marine technology, the technology in the marine industry?
Yes, we can see as we were talking earlier about the star constellation, we used to get a fix, we need a lot of time to get a real fix. Nowadays, you need seconds to get a fix by GPS. Technology has changed the whole world, including our industry, marine industry as well. But I must say that ship handling is an art where you respond or react in a blink of an eye. Things start going out of your hand in seconds. And if you have that skill to react and respond in that particular situation, and you know how to react, that is piloting. This technology, whatever increased, whatever it has advanced, it will never give you that feeling. They are all the aids and assistance for you, but the technology can never tell you what action you should take to avoid any incident or accident. That is your
Instinct. Correct.
that is your instinct.
Correct.
If you have that feelings, in Singapore, our seniors, our mentors, our trainers used to say, if you have that instinct, you can become a pilot. But if you don't have that instinct, you can never be a pilot. You might become a pilot accidentally, but you will not have that finishing or polishing of a good pilot. It is something like driving. Everybody can drive, but you will see some people are driving for 20 years, but still they are not a good driver.
Correct.
So it is instinct that you
Correct.
have it or you don't
You
have
don't
it.
have it. Understood. Captain, for our audience, I would like to ask you, how can they transition from being a captain or a second officer or a third officer to shore job or to becoming a pilot? You talk about Pakistan or any country
I
for
must
that
say
matter.
that, like I said myself, that many people they become pilot by themselves, joining any small ports. They go with their colleagues, with their seniors, with their friends to know, because ship handling is a different art. You are not handling the ship while you are commanding the ship as a master. When you are in congested waters, when you are in tidal waters, when you are in strong winds areas, you have limitations, you have shallow waters, you have other traffic, and you have very short time to decide
React, yes.
what to do and how to react in that particular condition. You need to start your change from your sailor to marine pilot or any other job. It is better to join as soon as you can, because you need time to get polish, and by the time you are working that independently, you will be a good at what you are doing. Either you are a superintendent, either you are inspector, marine inspector, maybe you are doing some oil inspections on tankers, maybe you are a planner in the container business, containerization. The earlier you start it, it's good for you. The younger you are, your learning skills are faster as
True.
compared to getting
Very
old.
true. Very true. And Captain, how do you think the problem of communication happens with people with different nationalities when you go on board a
Yes,
bridge?
of course, marine pilot is it's another art or skill you require because you are going on. If one day, like we are doing 3, 4 ships a day, you have all 3, 4 different nationalities.
True.
Even their accent, their delivering of words are very different. Some people they call two looks like four or seven. So you need to have patience. This is very important. A demanding thing in our job. You need to have patience. Very important for our job. It was taught us. I remember my trainer used to say, "You are going on board. You are the first and last line of defense.
True.
A ship entering in a port, you are the first guy who board,
True.
and you are the last guy who disembark from that ship when he's
True.
leaving the
True.
port. So you're the first and last line of defense. You need to have all these thing potential to handle the ship. And sometimes you find different people of different countries and nationalities with different behaviors. So only handling the ship is not an art. You need to know how to handle the master.
People, yeah. Makes sense.
You don't know what he's going through when you
Yeah.
board it.
Yeah.
Maybe his family has some medical problem.
True.
Maybe he's already exceeded his contract on ship. He is frustrated. Maybe he's waiting for the pilot longer than expected time. There are so many
So many reasons.
scenarios
Yeah.
that can happen. When I board any new ship, probably I have done 15,000 ship as a marine pilot so far in my 17
Wow.
years plus career. With the time, I also learn, and every day you learn something new. There is nothing perfection comes in. The day you think you are perfect is your end day.
True.
That's my belief is. So when I boarded and I see a master, he is little bit uh, grumpy or he is little bit behaving in a not normal way. I give him some space. I give him some room. I don't know what is happening in his life back.
Correct.
Maybe he was waiting long. Maybe he didn't sleep last night. Maybe he is already over contracted. Maybe he has some other issues. So as a marine pilot, your job is not only to handle the ship, handle the master, handle the situation, handle the nationality.
True.
You are expert. You have expertise on that. You know where you need to bring that ship, how to go there, what are the peculiarities during this passage. You already know if you know from where point A to B I need to take this ship, either in or out of a port. So you need to have these skills to keep the atmosphere of the bridge calm, cool. Try to make that bridge team
Safe.
management. It's all in your hand. Sometimes it happen. I boarded, the master is not happy. I will be so humble for 2, 3 minutes. He start feeling bad himself that I was behaving so nasty. The pilot is so humble, so nice. Captain, relax, calm down. What happened? I'm here. Don't worry. Take it easy. I will take care of your ship now. Few words like this will make him relax.
All right, Captain. We are almost coming to the end of the conversation. Just one last thing. Do you think that this Somalian incident in your life has made you stronger? Or if it does, what do you define? Like, what is it?
Of course, there's no doubt that this incident made me much stronger by all aspect, mentally, physically, professionally. I must say that it makes me much stronger. What I've gone through, people cannot even imagine in their dream what I've gone through. One who will read the book, he can little bit imagine,
Yeah,
but
I
I
did
can
that.
say guaranteed that you cannot expect, you cannot imagine exactly what I have gone through.
Sure, sure.
Uh, you need to take permission to go toilet. You're waiting for some water to drink to get your thirst out. You are waiting for some food while you are an officer on board ship and you are going into the mess with the steward and serving you on the table. Within a blink of an eye, you are in the floor of a jungle, under the bushes, under the armed guards. You have a life-threatening conditions. So it is, of course, it was bad. On the other hand, it gives me a lot of strength. There is no doubt in it.
Captain, last words to our audience if you have anything to talk about.
I can only tell that with my experience that whatever happening in your life, always have faith, have belief on your belief. Whatever you believe, have your faith and belief. Be a strong believer, and like I said earlier, whatever you are doing, enjoy it. If you are not enjoying, it's not for you. Then better change it. As long as you are enjoying what you are doing, you will have perfection in it.
True.
But if you're not enjoying, you can never become better every day, and you can never become you can never bring in perfection in that work.
Got it.
So life give you crest and trough. Everybody goes through. It's a part of life. So someone says there are 4 days in life. 2 are good and 2 are bad. When you have good days, don't feel much proud. And when you have bad days, don't feel very down. When you have good days, be ready for your bad days. And when you have bad days, keep hope for your good days.
Thank you so much, Captain Kazim. It was a real pleasure talking and speaking to you. I know I've been after you for a while now, almost 1.5 months. I wanted you to come.
Yeah, I'm really thankful to you that you give me this chance to come on this forum and a little bit explain about my incident and my book written. And thank you very much. Really thank
So,
you.
guys, this is 136 days, Captain Kazim's real life story. I will share the link of Captain Kazim profile and also the link to buy this book. Please go check this out. And if you have any questions, you can either ask Captain Kazim on his LinkedIn profile, or you can just put the questions in the comment. So, Captain Kazim, thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, Captain Rajat. Nice
And,
meeting with you. And I'm really thankful that you give me an opportunity to explain what I've written and what I've gone
Definitely,
through.
Captain. I mean, it's our pleasure that you are here today and we talked about this.
Thank you.
And guys, as you see, we talk about the real stories. We talk about the global trends. Somalia pirates is something which everybody knows. Who has been into shipping or who has not been into shipping, piracy has been a problem for seafarers for a long time. And guys, please feel free to subscribe and put comments, whatever you think. And thank you very much for joining today. Thank you. Good day.